Hi guys, hope everyone's doing really great. I wanted to come on here and make my next video about sort of who I am, my background, and why I'm choosing to do gastric bypass surgery. So, as I said before, my name is Sam. I am 31 years old. Whew, 31. It's flying by. I am a mom of one little boy who's now 14 months old and a wife. My husband and I have been married for about 2.5 years, together for almost 7. January will be 7 years. Have a lot going on, full-time job. Fitness and health haven't always been top priority. I'll say, growing up, we were always very healthy. My mom made it a point to make all our meals. We took our lunches to school every day. We would have what we called junk food Sundays, where after church we would go and get, fast food somewhere, and then my mom would make, a homemade dinner, and then after dinner we had snacks like popcorn and sugary cereals and things. But other than that, we never had soda in the house. We never had chips in the house. We never had anything, quote unquote, unhealthy. And I think after high school, kind of leading up until high school, I was always very curvy. I'm more of a pear shape, had thicker thighs, bigger butt. And so a lot of times, I'd be made fun of being, fat or chubby. But now looking back on it, I totally was not, and I would kill to have that body again. And so after high school, move out, my mom didn't spend a whole lot of time teaching us to cook. And maybe it was because I didn't enjoy it. Now thinking back, I always loved cleaning with her, as weird as that sounds, but I've never really enjoyed cooking. And the boyfriend I had at the time, we kind of just played off of each other and just ate fast food a lot. Didn't make a lot of meals. I worked at Round Table Pizza, and I got a free pizza every time I worked. So obviously I consumed a lot of calories there. And I always really enjoyed running and working out, but I didn't do it consistently. So then kind of fast forward a little bit, I got on the Depo-Vera shot, and I ended up gaining about 60 pounds my senior year the summer after my senior year, 2006. And that was really hard for me because I had never been quote unquote fat, or like not been able to shop in standard stores. And, I remember distinctively going into Gap after that summer had ended, and you wear skirts, and gauchos were like the really big thing. So I wore a lot of those. But you don't wear a lot of, jeans and slacks and things. And I remember going into the Gap, and the last time I had tried on jeans, I was like an 8'10". So I knew I was bigger, so I grabbed a 12 and then a 14, and then I finally squeezed. I was probably more an 18, but I squeezed into a 16, and I just remember breaking down in the dressing room with a friend, and I was like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me I was getting so fat? And she was like, honestly, I didn't notice. See, I'm the type of person that I kind of gain weight everywhere. So it distributes pretty evenly, and therefore it's harder to sort of detect until it's like, oh shit, that's 40 pounds, that's 60 pounds, that's 20 pounds. Whereas, some people, they gain 5 pounds and you can really tell. So after that, I went through kind of stints of trying to get healthy, went through a breakup, and obviously after breakups you lose weight. You're not really eating as much, and then I started running. And I really got into running. It was difficult because I was so heavy. At that time, I think my highest recorded weight was about 230. And sort of frame of reference, high school, I was always like 125-ish. So, you know, it crept up, and I started running, and that was difficult because I was so heavy. And then I met my husband, and he was into CrossFit, and he still loves to eat. I mean, our first date was a Christmas Eve dinner, and I hopped the next morning. So don't get me wrong, he's not, you know, super crazy CrossFit guy, but he was at the time really into CrossFit, and he still loves to lift weights and do Olympic lifting. And he was doing paleo. And so I was like, you know what? I'll give this a try. How hard could it be? I'll do it for a week. I'll do it for a month. And I wasn't hungry all the time like I had been in the past when I tried to diet. I did Weight Watchers, I did Ally, I did all these crazy, you know, fad diets, and I wasn't hungry all the time. So that was really exciting. I ended up losing just about 60 pounds and felt really great. I finally felt really good in my own skin. I was working out hardcore 5 days a week. I was doing CrossFit. This was obviously way before baby. And then went through some health concerns. I moved in with my husband, and you know, we got comfortable, we got complacent. I was working full time, commuting over an hour at that time. And so the weight kind of crept back up. I got up to like 180 again, and then lost, you know, would lose 10 pounds, 190, would lose 10 pounds. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm right at 200 again. And then I decided to do a bodybuilding competition. A friend kind of said it as a joke, and she was working with a coach at the time, and I was like, haha, no way, you're crazy. But then I was like, you know, standing on stage in a tiny little bikini, if that doesn't motivate you, then what will? And so I met with the coach and went through that process and gained a shit ton of muscle and lost a shit ton of fat, and I was 148 on stage in 2016, June of 2016, and about, if I remember correctly, I think I was 15% body fat or 16% body fat, which was insane. And then after that, I was going to do another show, and then I was like, you know, this lifestyle isn't working for me. That sort of industry it's just a little dysfunctional in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I still have friends who do it. I still, you know, I think it's a great thing that you can do, but to literally, you know, starve yourself and, you know, limit yourself so much and then walk off stage and they're handing you donuts and pizza, and I just, now after the whole fact, like, that was not sustainable for me, and my body could not handle it. And so I was restricting, and then I got pregnant. And then my doctor was like, yeah, you need to eat about 12 to 1300 calories a day. So I started there, and the weight just started piling on. And in my first trimester, I think I gained about 30 pounds. And I was, you know, I remember sitting in my doctor's office, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm not going crazy. I'm not like eating for two. Like, I'm working out. I'm being healthy. You know, I'm doing all the right things, but my body had just been so restricted for so long that it was just holding on to everything and anything. And then about, you know, 3/4 of the way through my pregnancy, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Everyone says that I'm going to lose weight super fast when I start breastfeeding, and who cares? Give me the fucking donuts. Give me the sandwiches. Give me the whatever, you know, croissants. Like, I was just like, whatever, you know, who cares? And Chinese food and all the, you know, yummy, unhealthy food that there is in America. And then I had the baby. I got home from the hospital, and I was actually 10 pounds heavier than I was when I went into the hospital, but I did have an emergency C-section and was on fluids, on IV fluids for 4 days. So I had a ton of swelling, a ton of water retention, fluid retention. So I went into the hospital, I was 245 with an 8-pound baby in me. And then I came out of the hospital and I was 255 with no baby, but tons of water retention and swelling. And that I got off pretty quickly. In the first, I would say 3 to 4 weeks, I think it was, I lost about 25 pounds. So I know a lot of it was, you know, water and fluid retention. And after that first 25 pounds, it was stubborn. I think it was a mixture of a struggle of being hungry all the time because I'm breastfeeding, but then every time I tried to restrict, like I tried doing keto while breastfeeding and my milk supply dropped a ton, and that was really scary. So then I nixed that. I tried all sorts of things, and then, you know, I stopped breastfeeding and still the weight didn't come off. The weight didn't come off. I'm working out, I'm restricting. And that's when I kind of when I was breastfeeding, I first started looking into gastric bypass surgery. And actually someone that I've followed for a really long time on Instagram, we've had very similar journeys. She's about my height, about a little bit less weight than I am. And she went through the process. And so I started researching, and I found out that you don't have to be 300 plus pounds. You don't have to have diabetes. You don't have to have heart disease. You don't have to have any of these crazy things. And I'll go into sort of, you know, my insurance requirements and my program requirements. But unfortunately, I did qualify. And so I started talking to a doctor, and the one thing that really sort of piqued my interest is the malabsorption and also the feeling of being full sooner and faster, because being hungry is miserable. You know, I remember when I was, you know, prepping for the show, I would literally go to bed and my stomach was aching and I would dream about food. And then I would wake up and count down the minutes until my next meal. Every 2 hours, you know, I was counting down. I was looking at my watch. I was, you know, just waiting until I could eat again. That's how restricted I was. You know, I was eating around 800 calories a day for months and doing 2 hours of cardio a day, plus my full lifting, you know, 6 days a week, cardio 7 days a week. So I don't want to be miserable all the time. I don't want to restrict myself so much that if I do want to treat myself, then I gain 5 pounds, 10 pounds just from, you know, a weekend of, you know, having a good time. So that was kind of what motivated me and sort of my background in terms of weight. So if you guys have any questions or video suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. And I think my next video, I'll start talking about insurance and the program requirements. So hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching. I know it was kind of a long one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.